Okay, real talk. Everyone in every corner of the internet is saying you have to use Claude Code. It's gonna change your life. It's gonna replace your entire team. So you download it, you open it up, and it's this. A black screen, a blinking cursor just sitting there judging you. So you do what any reasonable person does. You Google Claude Code for beginners. And now you're reading words like repository, bash commands, MCP server, context protocol, and I want you to know, I felt this too. I literally felt it all. I run an AI consulting company, Elevana AI. This is my actual job. When I first opened Claude Code, I genuinely thought, wait, am I in the wrong career? But here's what nobody tells you. You don't need to understand how the engine works to drive the car. So today, I'm giving you the cheat sheet I wish existed when I first started. 23 Claude Code concepts, every single one explained in plain English, with a real analogy so it actually sticks in your brain. Plus, I've got a bonus section at the end with the built-in commands that will save you hours on end every week. The custom commands you can build yourself, and a sneak peek at the actual AI operating system I run at Elevana. A lot of people have never seen this before. Don't skip to the end, let's go. Here's the structure of the 4 parts plus a bonus that we'll walk through today. Part 1, the workspace, where Claude Code actually lives and what all the setup terminology actually means. Part 2, building with AI. This is where you stop learning and start executing, how you talk to Claude and get it to build for you. Part 3, connecting systems. This is where it gets powerful, Claude talking to all your other tools. Part 4, power features, the advanced stuff that makes you look like you have an entire team when it's just you. And then the bonus, built-in commands, commands you can build yourself, and a preview of how I actually run an AI operating system across my entire business. So let's get into it. 7 concepts. I'm gonna be a bit fast, so try to keep up with me. Concept 1, repo, short for repository. And every time someone says repository in a tech context, half the room pretends they know what it means, and the other half quietly Googles it under the table. Here's the truth, it's a folder. That's genuinely all it is. A folder that holds everything related to your project. Your code files, your images, your configuration settings, your instructions, everything in one organized place. Why do we call it a repo instead of a folder? Because developers love making simple things sound complicated. Think of it like this. If you're planning a trip, you've got a folder called Italy 2025. Inside the folder has flight confirmations, hotel bookings, the restaurant list, packing lists, everything in one place. A repo is that, but for your code project. And here's why it matters. When you give Claude Code access to your repo, you're saying, here's the whole project, you know everything, Claude can see every file, understand how they connect, and make changes across the whole thing at once. That's powerful, and it starts with the repo. Concept 2, Git. Version control system. Let's kill that phrase immediately and never use it again. Git is an autosaver, but smarter than any autosaver you've ever used. Every single change you make to your project, Git records it. Not just files saved at 3:47 p.m. Git records what changed and what was added and what was deleted and who made that change. And you can go back to any point in that history. Editing a video, you make a change, everything looks terrible. Without Git, you're panicking, trying to undo, hoping you didn't save over the good version. With Git, you just say, take me back to an hour ago, done, the good version is back. Nothing lost, apply that to building software. Claude Code is making hundreds of changes to your project files. Something breaks, you ask Git to roll it back. No panic, no loss of words, no starting over. Git is an infinite undo button for your entire project. Concept 3, GitHub. And this is important. Git and GitHub are not the same thing. A lot of people say them interchangeably and it makes developers silently cringe every single time. Git is the system, the version tracker we just talked about. GitHub is a website. It's where your repos, your project folders live in the cloud, online, backed up, accessible from anywhere, at any time. The best analogy is Git is keeping a diary. GitHub is keeping the diary in a fireproof safe way that you can share with other people if you want to. So you can share code with collaborators, make projects public, copy someone else's project, and build on top of it. There are thousands of free tools on GitHub right now. One thing I want to flag is that GitHub repos can be public. If you accidentally push a file with your secret keys in it, strangers find it within minutes. There are actual bots that scan for this 24/7. Always keep secrets in separate environment files. Never upload those. Then you're safe. Concept 4, Terminal and CLI. Look at this screen. Black window, blinking cursor, completely terrifying if nobody explains it to you. Here's all it is. It's a text message conversation with your computer. You just type open documents and it opens. Instead of clicking through a settings menu to install something, you type install this thing and it installs. When I type Claude in the terminal, Claude Code opens. 2 seconds later, no clicking. This is why developers live in the terminal. Not because they're trying to look cool, although a little bit, but because it's genuinely faster for almost everything once you get comfortable with it. And here's the thing, with Claude Code, you barely need to know terminal commands yourself. You can ask Claude, how do I do XYZ in the terminal? And it will tell you exactly what to type. The terminal is actually Claude's native home. When you run Claude Code here, you're in its living room, just sitting down on the lounge, relaxing. Everything is much faster here, so I really recommend you using it. Concept 5, VS Code, Visual Studio Code, a code editor, which just means the app where you write and look at your code files. If Microsoft Word is for writing documents, VS Code is for writing code. Same energy, different output. VS Code is the most popular code editor in the world. Free, fast, thousands of extensions, and Claude Code runs directly inside of it. If you're using Antigravity like I do, that's actually built on top of VS Code, same bones, different skin, with its own AI agent layer on top of it. So when I talk about VS Code, think of Antigravity as its cooler. The terminal is where you run things. VS Code is where you see and understand what's being built. Concept 6, Cursor. A code editor like VS Code, but built from scratch with AI as the main feature, not an add-on. Cursor can write and edit code directly in your files. It understands your whole code base. It anticipates what you're trying to do as you type. It's genuinely impressive. A lot of people I respect use it. Here's why I personally don't. Cost money, and I found that for what I do, Claude Code inside Antigravity, I get everything I need for free. My advice, get comfortable with Claude Code first, understand the fundamentals, then if Cursor feels like it adds something, try the free trial. Don't buy tools before you understand what problems they're solving. I learned that the expensive way, so I don't want you to as well. Easy. Part 2, building with AI. How you actually talk to Claude and get it to build real projects. 8 concepts. This is where it starts to get fun. Concept 8, prompts. A prompt is your instruction to Claude. Plain English, no code. And before you think, yeah, I know what a prompt is, Maverick, I want to go deeper than that, because how you write prompts is literally the difference between Claude building exactly what you imagined and Claude building something that makes you go, what is this? Here's the mental model. I want you to lock in. You are a director and Claude is an incredibly talented actor who does exactly what the script says. If your script is vague, the performance will be vague. If your script is specific, you get a specific, brilliant performance. You don't say, build me a website. That's telling an actor, say some words. Instead say, build me a one-page website for my AI consulting company called Elevana, add a hero section, put some bold headlines saying we automate your business with AI, and dark navy electric purple colors, and clean, slightly techie, no animations. And the beautiful thing is, you don't have to get it perfect the first try. You iterate, make the headline bigger, change the font, add a testimonial section. You're having a conversation. Always take advantage of that. And also, always remember to say please. Please. You know, AI is going to take over the world, all right? Concept 9, prompt engineering. Engineering sounds like we have to do math. We don't. Prompt engineering is just the skill of writing better prompts, getting better at giving instructions. That's the whole thing. 3 techniques that move the needle every time. Technique 1, give Claude a role. Don't just ask Claude to do something. Tell it who it is first. You are a senior UX designer with 10 years of experience building SaaS products. You prioritize mobile first, intuitive layouts. Then ask your question. I have no idea why this works as well as it does, but it does. Claude performs differently when it has an identity. Technique 2, give context before the task. Don't just say what you want. Say why you want it and who is it for. I'm building a client onboarding tool for a law firm. Their clients are not tech savvy, simple interface, large font, very clear next steps. Now Claude understands the problem and makes better decisions around it without being told every detail. Technique 3, tell Claude what not to do. This is massively underrated. Don't use purple, don't add animations, don't make it look like every other AI startup website. Negative constraints are just as powerful as positive ones. Combine those 3 and your prompts are dramatically better immediately. But always remember to say please. Concept 10, tools, read, write, bash. This is the concept that explains why Claude Code is genuinely different from chatting with Claude in a browser tab. When you talk to Claude on Claude.ai, Claude reads your messages and writes you a response. Words in, words out. It can't touch your files. It's a very smart pen pal. Claude Code has tools, and tools let Claude actually act on your computer. Read. Claude opens and reads any file in your project, sees your entire code base, understands how everything connects. Write. Claude creates new files from scratch or edits existing ones, not describing code for you to copy, actually writing it into your files. Bash. Claude runs commands in the terminal, installs packages, starts servers, run tests, move files. Concept 11, permissions and safety modes. This is the I don't skip this part. Claude Code is powerful, and with power comes the ability to break things in impressive ways if you're not paying attention. 3 modes. Plan mode. Claude thinks through everything it's going to do, writes out a complete plan, and then stops. You read the plan, you approve it. Then Claude executes. Use this whenever you're working on something that's already live. A client's website, an app real people are using, anything where breaking lives. It would be a real problem. Plan first, execute second, bypass permissions. No asking permission to edit each file. It moves fast. Use this when you're building something brand new from scratch. When you've tested Claude on the project enough to trust it. When speed matters more than caution. My real workflow is plan mode when anything is at stake. Bypass when I'm experimenting or building fresh. Concept 12, context window. This might be the most practically important concept in this whole entire video. Pay attention because understanding this will save you a lot of frustration. The context window is Claude's short-term memory, everything Claude can see and remember in a single conversation. Your messages, Claude's responses, the files you've shared, the code that's been written, all of it lives in the context window. Critical thing, it has a limit. As you approach the limit, Claude doesn't suddenly stop. It gradually forgets earlier parts of the conversation. The code it wrote 2 hours ago, it might not fully remember why it made those decisions. That's when weird bugs start appearing. Watch the percentage bar in Claude Code when you see it creeping towards 75 to 80%. That's your cue. Concept 13, the Claude MD file. Claude's long-term memory context window resets between sessions. Start a new conversation. Claude has no memory of that last one. Claude MD files fixes this. Here's how. Type /init in Claude Code at the start of any project. Claude creates a Claude MD file in your project folder every single time you open Claude Code in that project. Before it does anything else, it reads that file. You can put anything in it, your tech stack, your color palette, rules Claude must follow, what it should never do, the current state of that project, and what's already being built. Claude reads this every session. I never have to repeat myself. It's like writing a briefing document for a new employee, or SOP, that they read every single day before they start work. The habit I want to give you is /init on every new project every time. It's a non-negotiable. Concept 14, models. Claude is a family of models. Different capabilities, different speeds, different price points. Picking the right one for the right task matters more than most people realize. Let me break this down. Haiku, the fast one, the cheap one. If you need Claude to categorize 500 items, Haiku, summarize a short document quickly, use Haiku. Running a task 1,000 times in an automated workflow, use Haiku. Because the cost difference at scale is massive. What Haiku is not for. Complex reasoning, anything where Claude needs to really think through hard problems. When someone asks me which Claude do I use, Sonnet is almost always the answer. Opus, the genius in the room, it reasons deeply, it catches things Sonnet misses, it's expensive, 5 times Sonnet per token. So my actual workflow is Sonnet for 90% of the work. When I'm about to ship something important, I bring Opus in to review and catch anything I missed. Sonnet builds, Opus verifies. That combination is powerful and cost effective. Concept 15, tokens. Tokens are the currency of everything that happens in Claude. Every word you write to Claude costs tokens. Every word Claude writes back costs tokens. The rough rule is 1 token is about 1 word. Why does this matter practically? Because tokens cost money, and the cost structure is different for different models, which is why Haiku is so much cheaper than Opus. But here's the thing about cost management. Buying tokens individually is like buying individual songs on iTunes instead of getting Spotify. The math never works in your favor if you're using Claude heavily for your business. Figure out your actual usage, get the right plan, stop thinking about cost per message and just build. Part 3, connecting systems. This is where Claude goes from being a coding tool to being the central nervous system of your entire operation. Concept 16, API. Application Programming Interface. I'm going to give you the clearest explanation of what an API is that you'll ever hear. An API is a key another app gives you so Claude can access their system. Notion API key, Claude can access your Notion workspace, read pages, create new ones, update databases. But the key is specific. Notion decides what it lets you do. Maybe you can read and write pages, but not access billing settings. The key has a defined scope. This is actually a feature, not a bug. You don't want AI having unlimited access to everything. You want controlled, specific access with clear permissions. APIs are how all modern software talks to each other. When any app connects to your Google Calendar, syncs with Shopify, integrates with Slack, APIs are what's making that happen under the hood. For AI consulting, this is foundational. Every workflow we build at Elevana is built on APIs. Claude talking to your CRM, Claude reading your emails, Claude updating your project management tool. The API is the bridge. Concept 17, MCP, Model Context Protocol. Yeah, big word, eh? This is one that changes everything. And I say that as someone whose business literally runs on this. Let me build on the API analogy. An API key is a key to one specific house, gets you into rooms you're allowed. MCP is something completely different. MCP is giving Claude the complete master keychain plus a detailed floor plan of every building, plus the instruction manual for every piece of equipment inside, plus permission to operate everything on your behalf. Without MCP, if you want Claude to add a task in Asana, you'd have to look up the API documentation. With MCP, you just say, add a task to the design sprint in Asana for next Tuesday. And Claude already knows how Asana works, it knows the structure, it knows the available actions, it just does it. MCP servers give Claude native fluency in each app, not just access, fluency. Right now, there are MCP servers for Gmail, Google Calendar, Notion, Asana, Slack, GitHub, databases, and dozens more. Every time I connect a new MCP server to Claude, it's like Claude went to school for that app overnight. And yes, you still need API keys. MCP uses them in the background, but MCP is the intelligent layer that transforms those keys into genuine capability. This is what the next wave of AI looks like. Not AI that responds to questions. AI that operates systems. That's MCP. Concept 18, JSON. You're going to see JSON everywhere. In API responses, in configuration files, in the data Claude reads and writes. JSON is a format for organizing data that's readable by both humans and computers. It looks like this, labels with values wrapped in curly brackets. It's a fill-in-the-blank form. Name field is Sarah. Company field is Elevana. Role field is consultant. Each piece of data has a clear label. Nothing is ambiguous. Why does JSON exit? Because computers need structure. If you just send the text Sarah Elevana Consultant, the computer has no idea what those words mean or how they relate. JSON gives everything a label and an order. Do you need to learn how to write JSON? No. Claude writes JSON for you. Claude reads JSON for you. Claude interprets JSON responses from APIs and translates them into plain English. What you need to know, when you see curly brackets and labels in tech, that's JSON. It's not scary, it's just organized data, nod at it and move on. I seriously don't even use this. Concept 19, RAG, Retrieval Augmented Generation. This sounds the most intimidating and is one of the most immediately useful concepts in the whole video. Here's the problem RAG solves. Claude was trained on data up to a certain point in time. It knows a lot, generally a stunning amount, but it doesn't know your organization, your specific care procedures, your client notes, your internal documents, your compliance policies. And even within its training, Claude can hallucinate confidently, making up facts that aren't real. Well-known limitation of all AI models. And in healthcare and aged care, that's not acceptable. RAG solves both of these problems. With RAG, instead of Claude answering from memory, Claude first searches through a specific set of documents that you provide, finds the relevant information, and then answers based on what is found. This is exactly what we built into CareNote AI. A support worker finishing a shift can ask what were the key notes from this client's last 3 visits, and Claude searches through the actual care notes and gives them a real answer. A nurse can ask, what's the medication protocol for this client? And Claude pulls it directly from their care plan, not from general training data. The result is an AI that doesn't just know about aged care and disability support in general. It knows about your clients, your procedures, your organization specifically. That's the difference between a generic AI tool and one that actually belongs in a care setting. So that defines RAG. Concept 20, deployment. The moment your project goes from living on your computer to existing on the internet where anyone with the link can access it. Before deployment, only you can see it. Runs locally on your machine, it's private. After deployment, it's live. People can use it. It exists in the world. I use Vercel for front end. It's incredibly simple. Connect your GitHub repo. Vercel automatically deploys every time you push new code. Takes about 30 seconds from nothing to live URL. Building the thing is not the finish line. Deploying it is. An app that only works on your laptop is not actually an app, it's a demo. The goal is always to get it live. And with Claude Code, the whole process building, configuring, deploying can happen in a single conversation. That still genuinely amazes me. Part 4, power features. This is what separates people who use Claude Code from people who have built an actual AI-powered operation. Concept 21, sub-agents. Here's a limitation of any single AI conversation. There's a limit to what one Claude session can think about, plan, and execute simultaneously. Sub-agents are the solution. Instead of one Claude doing everything in a long chain, you orchestrate multiple Claude agents, each specialized for a specific part of the task. Think of a film production, one director trying to simultaneously cast actors, write the script, scout locations, manage the budget, operate the camera, and edit. Would be chaos. Instead, you have a director who coordinates the team, each person excellent at their specific job, all working in parallel. Sub-agents work exactly the same way. My content workflow is one agent monitors trends and identifies what topics to cover. One agent does deep research on the chosen topic. One agent writes the first draft. One agent edits and refines. And another agent formats the output for different platforms. All of this runs without me touching it. What used to take me most of a day now takes one automated pipeline running in the background. This is the most exciting area of Claude Code right now. The agentic capabilities are advancing fast. We're not talking about AI that responds. We're talking about AI that executes multi-step workflows autonomously. That's a fundamentally different category of a tool. Concept 22, Checkpoints and undo. I want to spend a minute on this because I think it fundamentally changes how fearlessly you can work with Claude Code. One of the biggest hesitations I hear from people new to this is, what if Claude breaks something? What if it deletes something important? What if I can't get back? Checkpoints are the answer to all those fears. Claude Code automatically creates checkpoints, saved states of your entire project. As it works, you don't set this up. It just happens. So at any moment, if something goes wrong, if Claude makes a change that breaks the app, if a file gets overwritten in a way you didn't intend, you just ask Claude to roll back to the last checkpoint. So at any moment, if something goes wrong, if Claude makes a change that breaks the app, if a file gets overwritten in a way you didn't intend, you just ask Claude to roll back to the last checkpoint or any specific earlier checkpoint. This means you should be less afraid to experiment. Let Claude try things. If it doesn't work, undo. Try a different approach. The people who move fastest are the ones most comfortable saying just do it. The fearlessness is a real competitive advantage. So execute. Be not afraid. Take all the risks. But don't take the risk where you're putting API keys in a Claude terminal, alright? I've done that before. Concept 23, the full picture. Let me show you how everything we've talked about connects, because it's actually a really elegant system. You have a repo, your project folder. Git tracks every change, GitHub keeps it safe in the cloud. You open it in VS Code or Antigravity. You run Claude Code through the terminal. Claude can read, write, and bash, full tool access to your project. You control how Claude works using permissions. Plan mode when you're careful, bypass permissions when you're moving fast. Your Claude MD file means Claude knows your preferences every session, defeating the context window limitation. You pick the right model, Haiku for speed, Sonnet for most things, Opus for verification, you prompt well, you manage tokens. When Claude needs to work with other tools, APIs give it access. MCP gives it fluency. JSON structures the data, and RAG grounds it in your documents. When your thing is ready, you deploy it. Subagents run complex parallel workflows, checkpoints keep you fearless. This is the entire system. You now understand all of it. This is the part I mentioned at the start that most people have never seen before. 3 layers, built-in Claude commands. Commands you can build yourself, and a preview of the actual AI operating system I run for my business. Stay with me. This is where it gets really interesting. First, the built-in commands, 5 of them. Now, and honestly, I want to be honest with you about something. I wish someone had just told me is not just about from day one. Shortcuts / compact. This is an AI operating system bar we talked about. A custom command layout window running on top of Claude. When it hits around manages my entire business, marketing, type, sales, operations, content, goes through the whole conversation. People like Liam, everything that people who run AI agents quietly compresses businesses. You're building systems like this for enterprise and you keep going in the same session. Charging serious the other amounts is starting completely over. I built mine to re-explaining your entire project from scratch. Now, I could make a full video on exactly how I built this. This one does exactly what it sounds like. The Claude MD files, the decision engine, I use this like I've been working on a landing page for 2 hours to businesses, and now I need to go work on something as deep as you want to go. You don't want the landing page conversation bleeding into the new thing. So here's what I'm asking. If you want that video, comment below right now. This one is the one. And be specific. That made me how in depth do you want me to go? The future is here. Do you want the technical open Claude Code? Do you want the sales side? Type. Do you want to see how to price and package your last conversation? Do you want to see it start to finish where you left off? No catching up. Comment. It just continues. One of those creators. Close your laptop and Friday night. I see your comments. Respond to your Monday morning. A lot of people in the space make videos about building these systems. For anyone working on something ongoing, this is absolutely actual day-to-day / in it. I will go as deep as you want this one, but I'm saying it again. Just tell me what you want, because I see people skipping it constantly, not knowing what a repo was. You're walking out, understanding the full architecture on any new project, AI-powered development. Claude creates your Claude MD memory file. Long-term memory is now switched on to its logical conclusion. Every concept and you will be repeating yourself over and over again. The MCP connection, every single subagents, the RAG systems. Now, the custom command layer, businesses are using so all of this right bypass now to automate work. This is to require entire just does the work. The company's permission in the next 5 years every 10 seconds aren't going to be the ones. Are you sure you want to edit this file? They're going to be the ones who figured out how to build intelligent systems where you do the building and experiment. That's what we do. Please, never on live client work. We come into your business, never on something that actually is running in your real world. The name literally has the repetitive dangerously automated for a reason. And we build just the AI systems that run those always roll back. If you're running a business and you want to know now what this here's where it gets really fun specifically, because you can actually build your own free 30-minute strategy call, no pitch, no pressure, just an honest conversation, completely tailored to your whether it makes sense for where you are right now. The way you subscribe, because the next video is either 11 of newest features, and they run my entire operating system depending on what you tell me. 4 of them are my content commands. It's going to be worth it. These are global, meaning they work across everything. / daily research. Every morning, this thing goes and finds what's trending, then scores each topic by how big the market is, how viral it could go, and how much it could bring in leads. It basically tells me what to talk about before I even open a document. / content plan. I give it one topic and it spits out a full strategy. 3 short form video ideas, a carousel concept, and a lead magnet idea, and a DM automation sequence. 1 command. That's what used to take me an afternoon. / post content. Takes the content plan and writes 6 captions. 1 for Instagram, 1 for TikTok, YouTube, X, LinkedIn, Threads, each one written for how that specific platform actually works, not just copy and pasted with a different hashtag. / carousel. This one writes a full 10 to 14 slide Instagram carousel in my own voice. Hook slides, body slides, call to action, structured to get saves and shares. Ready to hand to a designer. Then my 5 business operating system commands. These are what I think of as the actual brain of my company. / prime. This one runs first, always before anything else in a business session. It reads through my entire Elevana vault. 7 layers of information. The operating system, the systems, the playbooks, the lead rules, the agents, the decisions, the research. Then it gives me a snapshot of where the business is right now. Cost per lead targets, active clients, last decision made through the business. Nothing else runs until / prime is done. It's my morning briefing, inspired from Leah Motley. / analyze. This is my business health check. It goes deep across 3 areas. Marketing, what's my cost per lead? How's the ad creative performing? Is retargeting working? Sales, how many cold calls went out this week? And what's the booking rate? What objections are coming up? Is there any churn to worry about? And then it tells me exactly what to fix and which playbook to use to fix it. / decide. And this is genuinely my favorite one in the whole system. Every time I need to make a decision, I run / decide. And whatever the topic is, it forces the decision through what I call the 1 to 3 1 rule. 1 problem, 3 options, 1 solution. Then it does second order thinking on that solution. Then it checks against my AI operating system rules. Then it assigns it to the rich agent. And then it logs the whole thing to a dated file. The beautiful thing is, over time, those decision logs start turning into playbooks. The way I solve problems becomes a reusable system. / execute. Once a decision is made, this takes it and actually makes it happen. Routes it to the right agent, whether that's an inbound, outbound, ops, or management. Breaks it into steps, sets the dependencies, defines what success looks like. The gap between deciding and actually doing. It's closed. / report. This one pulls everything together into a report. / qualify. This one runs a CSV of leads. It comes back with a keep, ditch, and review breakdown. The top 5 reasons leads got ditched and everything sorted into the right output folders. These are all my commands, my content, my decisions, my sales pipeline, my client delivery, all of it running automatically. Now, I want to be honest with you about something. What I just showed you is not just a few clever shortcuts. This is an AI operating system, a custom command layer running on top of Claude, code that manages my entire business. Marketing, sales, operations, content, all automated. People like Leah Motley, people who run AI agent swarms for businesses, they're building systems like this for enterprise clients and charging serious amounts of money for it. I built mine to run Elevana, and it works. Now, I could make a full video on exactly how I built this, start to finish, and the architecture, the Claude MD files, the decision engine, the playbooks, how to sell systems like this to businesses, step by step, as deep as you want to go. But I want to know if that's actually what you want to see. So here's what I'm asking. If you want that video, comment below right now and be specific. Tell me how in depth do you want me to go? Do you want the technical build? Do you want the sales side? Do you want to see how to price and package it for clients? Do you want to see it start to finish? I read every single comment. I'm not one of those creators who posts and disappears. I see your comments, I respond to your comments. A lot of people in the space make videos about building these systems, but nobody really talks about how to sell them and what that actual day-to-day looks like. I will go as deep as you want. No, just tell me what you want. And that's it. You walked in not knowing what a repo was. You're walking out understanding the full architecture of how modern AI-powered development actually works. And you've seen a preview of what it looks like when you take that to its logical conclusion. Every concept we talked about today, the APIs, the MCP connections, the sub-agents, the RAG systems, the custom command layer, businesses are using all of this right now to automate work that used to require entire teams. The companies winning in the next 5 years aren't going to be the ones with the most employees. They're going to be the ones who figured out how to build intelligent systems that do the work for them. That's what we do at Elevana AI Consulting. We come into your business, we map out where your time and your team's time is being consumed by repetitive, manual, automatable work. And we build the AI systems that run those workflows for you. If you're running a business and you want to know what this could look like for you specifically, the link is in the description. Free 30-minute strategy call, no pitch, no pressure, just an honest conversation about what's possible and whether it makes sense for where you are right now. Subscribe because the next video is either Claude Code newest features or the full AI operating system, depending on what you tell me in the comments. Either way, it's going to be worth it. See you there. Appreciate you watching the whole video. Thank you.